welcome back to Living My Dream. Today we're obviously not in the kitchen, we're outside, but I have a project I want to do, so I got to come out to my tomato cage graveyard I found on my property. So let's go see what we can find. Okay, all of these are actually tomato cages. So I'm going to find the most round one I can, and that's the one you will use. So hold on. Okay, so we have our tomato cage. We're downstairs in the basement now because it's like 20 degrees outside. So I'm going to cut at least one of these off. I did just bend them down. This was the most circular tomato cage I can find. Just gotta move it a little bit right there. And then we're gonna clean it up a little bit and spray paint it. So I'm gonna get this cut off with my grinder and maybe another one, and we'll get going. Alright, there's one. That should be good enough. These ones off right here at the edge of the circle. So I'm going to trim them so that they're even with that, so we don't have this really crazy hangover. Alright. Done. Now we're just going to clean it up with a green Scotch-Brite pad, and then we will paint it in just a second. Looks pretty good to me. It's stable on its bottom. It doesn't move around too much, and that's really all we're looking for. So now I'm going to put this in my makeshift little spray paint booth because, like I said, it's 20 degrees outside. There's no way I'm going to do this outside. So let's get that set up. Alright, I get my dog food delivered by Amazon, so I've got this giant box, which is perfect. So we've got our little tomato cage in there. So I've just got some black spray paint. It doesn't really matter what if we do gloss or satin, because we are going to do a clear coat over top. So let's get to it. Just got the clear coat enamel put on. It's hard to even see it in here now, but it is done. We're gonna let it dry. I'll roll it over, get the other side a little bit, and then you guys will actually see what this is being used for. So you get to see what this is used for tomorrow morning. I need to make yogurt, and this is going to help us with that. So you'll also probably see it in the little picture anyway, but so tonight we're going to make yogurt, and then we'll end up using that tomorrow morning to strain it. So I will see you tonight when we start the yogurt. Alright, we are in the kitchen now. It is 9:08 p.m. This is when I typically like to start making my yogurt so it can go all night long and I don't have to worry about the extra counter space and everything. So let's get this turned around and show you how I do it. Okay, so we've got about a gallon, a little over a gallon, almost a gallon and a half in here. So this is the Instant Pot Ultra. So we just gonna switch it to yogurt. We're gonna make sure it's on high with the boil method because this is regular milk and it's not the lactose free. So we do have to go through the boil process. So we're just gonna go ahead and put it on high. We're gonna put the glass lid on it. You do not need your pressure lid for this. This is going to boil for about, I believe it's like 45 minutes this takes. So we'll let that go for about 45 minutes or however long it takes. So it's gonna boil it, or it's gonna heat it to 180 degrees, not necessarily boil it. But this will bring it up to 180 degrees. It will beep saying that it's at temperature. It will go for, I think, like 3 to 5 minutes, and then it'll beep the 10 times, and then it'll turn itself off. That's when you want to come in, bring it down to the temperature. I think it's, I don't remember, but I'll tell you when we come back. And that's when we'll cool it down, and then we'll do the rest of the process. Yogurt's a really fun thing to do because you can really do whatever you want. You can make it as sweet as you want, as tangy as you want. You can do it with chocolate milk and then tell your kids that it's pudding if you have a problem with sweets in your house. You can do pretty much anything with this, and I really love that about it. I actually tend to keep my some of my when it first comes out, and use that as sour cream once I make it a lot thicker, but we'll get into that part tomorrow. So the yogurt I will be using to do mine with is this one. It's a whole milk French style yogurt. It is vanilla, but it has, where's the ingredients? The ingredients isn't in on this one. So I used the wee French style yogurt, this one, because it has the least amount of ingredients of any of the yogurts that I have found. So this literally only has milk, sugar, the bacteria, and then the vanilla. So if you are making this with a previous yogurt like this, you want to make sure that it's got bacteria in it. So it's going to say L something something. I'll put some pictures right here. But you want to make sure that it has that. That's the bacteria that it needs to be able to grow to make it into yogurt. So like I said, this is the best one I have found. It has the fewest amount of ingredients, and to me that's kind of why I'm making it at home anyway. So it works out really good for me to be like that. So we're gonna let this get up to the boil and do its thing, and then we'll come back in a little bit. All right, it is 10 o'clock on the dot. As you can hear, it's beeping. And that's all 10. Okay, so now let me flip this. All right, it says yogurt, it's blinking, it's done, it's about to turn off. So we're gonna pull this pot out and actually put it in a sink of cold water. You can just leave it in here, but we need to cool it down to about 115 degrees. And if you leave it in here, that'll take about an hour. If you put it in the sink of cold water, that takes about 5 minutes. So that's what we're doing. Okay, we are in the sink. I am going to be using this. It's got a temperature gauge here at the end. Maybe. There we go. So we're going to stir this for a couple minutes, get it all brought down to temperature, and we'll be back. All right, 8 minutes later, and here we are. We've got our milk cooled down to a little under 100 and I'm guessing that's 118. Now we're going to put in a couple scoops of our yogurt. I've already put the rest of it into the freezer, so we've just got 2 scoops in there. And then we're going to put in about half a cup of sugar. I find that helps the bacteria give the energy they need to make this a much thicker yogurt, and that's what we like. So let's get that in there now. All right, we've got that in there. It's still cooling down a little bit, which is fine. We're gonna get this all mixed up really good and then dry off the sides and put it back in the Instant Pot. Okay, back in the Instant Pot, we have the glass lid on. We're gonna come down here. We're gonna go into the yogurt and we're gonna turn it down to medium, which what you saw was 107 degrees. This is 8 hours. I like to do about 11 hours. So we're gonna turn that up and push start. I will see you in the morning. All right, next morning here, we've got our yogurt done. Let's get this flipped around so you can see what we're looking at. Okay, so looks nothing different than yesterday, except it's not liquid. So now is a great time to pull out a couple spoonfuls and put it into a bag and put it in the freezer so that you have some starter for next time. But what we are going to do is strain it because we like ours really thick. So we are going to put it into this. This is a flour towel inside of a large mixing bowl. And then we're gonna end up using that contraption just here in a minute. So let's get all of this put into here. Okay, now we're going to pick up each corner of these, 2, 3, and 4. That is very heavy. And we're going to put this over top. And then we're gonna go through one of these. Hold on, let me get you backed up. All right, so we're gonna go over one and under the other. There we go. And then we're gonna wrap this around and over top of this one. And we're gonna take our plastic clip and just do that. So let me show you what we're looking at. Back it up here. Okay, so this is that tomato cage that we worked on. This is just the largest mixing bowl I have, and then our flour towel full of yogurt. You can see the line of yogurt there, and then all the way up here. So we went over this. So right there we went over, and then over top of the second one, and then we just clipped it with our little clip right there. Now this is going to sit here and hang for a couple hours and let all of this whey come out. You can see it's coming out right there. So this is going to make our yogurt quite a bit thicker. So this is how you get like your Greek yogurt consistency or even the French yogurt consistency. Also like a sour cream thickness. So that's what we like. We like it quite thick. So we're gonna get out as much of this whey as we can. And then we will mix it up and show you what we do after that. So we're gonna let this sit for a couple hours. All right, a couple hours later, and let me show you what we've got. All right, so that's how much whey we've gotten off. You can see we've definitely gone quite a bit down in there, but let's pour the whey out and then we can open that up and see what we've got. So this has got like a slimy whey covering it, so we don't want to set that down. So I'm just going to pick this whole thing up and move it over, and then we can get to the bowl. All right, so this is a lot of whey. You can do a lot of stuff with this. In the summer I use it to fertilize my garden. But today we're just dumping it. Now we're just going to put all of the yogurt in here. So hold on 1 minute. So we're just going to dump this in here. You can already tell there's a lot less. So we're going to go right off through here. This is where it gets a little messy, but if you use, that's what I like to see. Just comes off in big chunks like that. So we use a rubber scraper and get this all scraped in. All right, go ahead and pause. Okay, 1 messy minute later, we've got everything in the bowl. We're gonna mix it up a little bit, make sure it's the consistency we want, and then we'll put some stuff into it. Okay, as you can see, it's very thick, and that's exactly what we want. So now's the time that you get to add all your fun stuff. So you could add vanilla, which is what I like to do. I also, like I said earlier, I like to take a little bit out and use it as sour cream. You can add whatever flavors in that you want. You can store it however you want. You can get those little Go-Gurt tubes and put it into those. You can get the little pouches, like the applesauce pouches that you get at the store. You can get some of those and fill them with yogurt. Whatever you want to do, however you want to do it. That's kind of why I like making it. So you can make it as sweet as you want, or as whatever flavor you want, and that's what makes this really fun. So you can sweeten it with honey, maple syrup, sugar. We like to use sweetened condensed milk. We normally do vanilla. I have some vanilla bean paste that I like to use, or vanilla extract, or any of those that you want to do. I know some people put like strawberries in the bottom and use that, you know, the fruit at the bottom, yogurts. Whatever you want to do is kind of what you get to do. That's what making your own. That's why I like making my own, because you can do it however you want. So I will not be adding, I will add some sweet condensed milk to this and some vanilla. I will mix it up and I'll put it into some mason jars. All right, so it's all mixed up and it's put into jars. We got about 3.5 quarts out of that. I would say about 1.25 gallons of milk that we did, which is not bad at all. And then we got pulled out all of that whey, so that's really pretty good. Like I said, you can use the whey for a few different things. I know you can feed it to your chickens if you have them. During the summer, I put it in my garden. The peppers and tomatoes love it. And then really I just put it down the drain because it's actually good for your septic system as well. So that's all I've got for you guys today. There is actually another way to do yogurt in the Instant Pot. It's called the cold start method. I used to do that one all the time before I started eating it more. So the cold start method, you need to start with a lactose-free milk, and those typically come in about 1/2 gallon. So you end up making a lot less. I mean, obviously you can buy, you know, 1 gallon of it or 1.5 gallons, but it tends to cost quite a bit more because it's the lactose free. The cold start method's a lot easier. You just put the milk in, you put in your bacteria or your yogurt starter, and then you just turn it to yogurt on the medium, just like we did after we cooled the milk. It saves you a couple steps, but this way seems to be a lot more cost efficient, especially for me. So that's why we do it this way. I love making yogurt. Like I said, there's a lot of different ways that you can do it to make it your own. You can, you know, let it go longer, make it more tangy, or a little less and make it not as tangy. Like I said, you can do it with chocolate milk instead to give it more of a chocolate pudding vibe instead. We used to make some lemon curd and put it in with it, so it would be more like a lemon pudding. You can really do whatever you want, and that's the fun of it. So that's all I have for you guys today. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next week. Bye.